Hello, beautiful earthlings. I've just a small update for today. It's not going to be that long, I think. It's about Father's Day. It was recently, last fin de semana, um, and what it means to me is. Um, Yes, it's a bit complicated. Um, the story is that the fake story my Dutch so-called family told me this is that my Brazilian father is is a typical Brazilian and not working and yeah, very racist ideas. But of course, you can't say that because yeah, there's no racism in the Netherlands. It just doesn't exist. So yeah, right. And it's and he was also was not only that it was also that he was schizophrenic and he killed a young woman and one or two children. I'm not really sure, but anyways, he killed people and therefore a very bad and crazy person. And of course, I've checked it out and couldn't find anything from that because it's a fake story. But um, yeah, that Dutch family really tried to do everything to get me over a certain edge, and because I was already admitted before in a psychiatrical thing, and it was my own choice, by the way. And it was right after they told me my Brazilian mother, my birth mother, died and couldn't be found anymore, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I got there because of tremendous grief and misunderstanding and etc. But yeah, so the maternal roots of my Brazilian story, uh, my birth mother, according to them, is has died. Well, I am sure that that is not true, that that is not the case, and that my birth family is well, maybe now incomplete because of the many years gone by, but at that time, I don't think they had any idea who my birth family was, and uh, yeah. So, but my maternal roots, my Brazilian mother was dead, and I heard that when I was 21, and I had a very difficult time after for years. So, um, the paternal Brazilian roots in my story have been by those idiots, those Dutch so-called family, um, has been made so ugly that I think they would hope I would there was nothing to be proud of, nothing to search for. It was all a bad influence and a bad story for me, and I had to cope with that. But unfortunately for them, I'm not that stupid, and I have all reason, 100% to not believe this stupid story. So, um, I think this is the first year I really had a moment to myself with this beautiful candle. And it says pi. Dad, estarás sempre nos meus pensamentos e coração. And it means you will be always in my thoughts and heart. And um, yeah, this year it is because there was always a very strong longing for to find my mother and her mother, and um, and because they or those Dutch people already made the story about my father very negative and with very racist influence. Um, for years, it wasn't such a huge desire to know more about my father and his side of my roots, but uh yeah, it has changed, and to acknowledge the fact that the story I know about my father now is a total lie. um yeah, now the desire is there to have a more of a complete uh story about my roots. And I think um it's a very good thing, because uh, to not acknowledge a part of my roots fully is not acknowledging myself fully, because it's all connected. And I think um, y- ancestral influence in a family tree is important, is of importance. And because it's uh, certain traits will be passed on for decades and decades through DNA. And so yeah, I am very curious about my father as well. And uh, yeah, he is a lot in my thoughts, and he does live in my heart. And um, uh, I just wonder what kind of traits there are from him running through my veins. Um, it's a lot of curiosity, and it's also um, missing his influence in the whole story, which I was told for years, and he was not making a part of it, or a very negative part of it. And I came to know that this is something that happens to a lot of people like me, with who were trafficked and illegal adopted and whatever you want to call it. That um, in nine of the 10 cases, uh, I know the mother was very young and died very young, and the father was nowhere in the picture and in the story, and had no responsibility, and just was not a part of me and others. So it's a very common story. I'm not the only one walking around with it. Um, it's difficult to connect with something so unknown. I mean, I have no idea. It's just more like an energetic thing. Also, I try to tune in the energy of my roots. And last night I couldn't sleep, and I listened to a lot of Brazilian samba drum music. And it makes me so happy. And um, there were very nice videos about the best Brazilian crowds was Rock in Rio, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh yes, I know my love for music and singing. It's just it's in our system. It's in our whole being, and it is a very Brazilian thing. And it was so fun, and um, um, yeah, I don't know what to call it. It was fun, and it was empowering. It was empowering to take that in. And I was like, um thinking about my dad, my Brazilian dad as well. I have a very strange relationship with the father figure in general, because in the Dutch family, um, the father figure was very absent. He was working abroad a lot, and Mm, yeah, it was like he was gone for then he had a mission for 2 years, and then in those 2 years he got back maybe 3 times for 1 or 2 months at the least. So at the most, I mean. So it eh, when he was there, it was good, and I had much closer bond with um, my Dutch father than with my Dutch mother. She will hate it when I say it, but it is the truth. Um, and also with his youngest, well, younger brother. I think it was the youngest brother. And so an uncle of mine. And yeah, they had two adopted girls as well, one from Vietnam, the oldest, and one from Brazil as well. And it's and with my uncle, I also had a very close bond, and with my niece from Brazil, also adopted from Brazil at that time, and also arranged by those Dutch people. I So yeah. um and so we and that Dutch father figure uh died when I was 11. And yeah, so it was a very short period of my life that I knew him, and what I knew from him was not that much, because he was more not there than that he was there. So yeah, it was very weird. And mourning about him was also very weird, because it came later, because it it was like it because he was away that much and that long. It took longer for me um, to get to the moment of grief, because he was gone for very long periods of time. So it took extra long for me to get to the point where I was mourning him over him. And yeah, all in between, uh, that Dutch woman who supposed to be my mother, um, got remarried with another uncle. It's very complicated, like I said, and it was very fast. Within 2 years, they got married, and I had a very, very difficult time accepting that, and um, they never told me that they were involved in a relationship. Of course, I noticed that the guy was a lot hanging around with her, um, and spent a lot of time at us at home, and we went to his home. He was married with a sister of my Dutch father, who committed suicide very long time ago, and yeah, a sad story. I really liked her. She was a very friendly, kind, sensitive soul, and yeah. And but yeah, so that's how the dynamics were. So I already knew him because he was an uncle, and yeah, they never told me they were in a relationship. Once I remember it very well. Once we were there, I at night I had to go to the bathroom, and I saw my mother coming out of my uncle's bedroom, and uh, something really snapped inside of me. It was like um, I just couldn't believe what I saw. I mean, I thought they were friends, and he was helping her with things after my Dutch father died, and I had no idea it was something else, and I had to. Um, so I had to cope with that, and I was so angry that they for not telling me, and it's this one example of many things that weren't told to me and where I was not included. Um, so, yeah, maybe that was why it was uh, pretty easy for me to leave them all behind there in that fucking Netherlands. Um, to yeah, because um, eh, they they will say to you when you meet them that they did everything for me, and that they had invested so much in me, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that's how they want to present it to others, and how to others to see it. But I was excluded in so many important things, which back then not thought nothing of it, because I was a child, and I thought it was normal, and never thought anything else of it. But um, of course, later, and with the whole story of the illegal adoption, and putting together where they did excluded me in, it's amazing, and it's a form of physical no mentally abuse, and a lot of gaslighting, and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very weird, and it was very difficult for me to cope with them being together all of a sudden, and a lot of things came together then uh, um, the house we lived in back then, in the Achterhoek in the Netherlands, I lived there with a lot of pleasure and was very nice living there. We lived on a farm with a lot of land surrounding it, and I went to a small school there, and Jenaplan. It's a bit like a Montessori, but a little bit different. And I really like that. I really love the idea of doing your tasks in your own way, your own pace, and own order of. There was a lot of freedom how to do it. I like that. And um, so when they decided to get married, uh, we were moving from there, and um, it was such a difficult time for me because I was in mourning. I had to deal with them being together, and we were moving out. Um, and we went to the province Drenthe, and which I really, really hated there. And I still hate it there. It's a very nice to take walks there, or to see things there by bike, but not to live there. The mentality is totally, totally different than in the Achterhoek. And no, it's not for me. No. So yeah, we moved, and there they got married, and yeah, it was the most difficult period, I think, of my life. um I got I got some good friends there, and which was very important. I could talk to and do things together with, and that was nice. Um, but and I got my first own dog there, Toby, and Fries is daarbij, and lovely, lovely dog. I had it for 15 years, and I got it on my 15th, and she died when I was 30. So back then I had her for half of my life. Um, um, I think the anger and um, the exclusion of not telling about a lot of important things, like that they were getting married and things like that. It was just too much, and with the movement to from one place to another, I had my Dutch father gave me a horse to take. Well, it was a pony, actually, a big pony, but and he I took care of, and we had a dog, we had sheep, and yeah, there was just a lot of freedom because of all the space around us. And when we moved, yeah, the horse had got to go, the dog had got to go, and so it was, and they all knew already. They knew what the plan was, what they were doing, and why and how. And but no one ever told me anything about it. So yeah, it was just a bit a bit much. And the whole father thing in the story um, is um, those were all father figures I didn't bond well with. Um, I mean, with my uncle, the second husband of that woman. Um, we became sort of friendly with each other, and but I never, I mean, I never saw him as a father figure. Never. No, he was my uncle and the second husband of her, and that was it. And yeah, and so um, to come to a conclusion, my whole relationship with my paternal roots are now very important to me, because when I look back at it, there were never really father figures for me. Uh, Not really, because it was all so complicated and so weird, and um, so yeah, in a way, I really missed out. At the moment, at that moment, I didn't think of it like that. But yeah, looking back on it, and feeling it now, yeah, I do miss it, and I do miss knowing something about it. It's just an empty space, just like my whole roots. And um yeah, um there's nothing there, and yet there is so much there. But um yeah, the way I see it now is that my roots, when I listen to a lot of Brazilian music, and stuff like that, and movies, and so that's it's nourishing my roots. Um but to go deeper into my roots, which are there, yeah, it's hard, because when I start digging, it's just a black hole, like some bottomless pit. And so with things like this, like with this candle, and I try to connect with the energy of paternal roots, which are inside of me, and which are there. And in that way also invite it into my life, because I uh, the maternal roots and the paternal roots, I want them both uh, in my life. And um, yeah, and someday I'm sure it will happen. And but it's just it's yeah, it's a strange trigger those days. Mother's Day, Father's Day, It's just um yeah, it's for me, it's a totally different experience. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something I I I I have a desire for to know more about. And but I am very very grateful to my epai, for life, and for being here. And yeah, I would love to know more about all of them. And yeah, and I think about that if I lit a candle like that, and when I listen to Brazilian music, and yeah, it's just always with the longing for to know um, my roots. And um, when I read a lot of comments like on stories of the Dilani or Patrick, the two persons I already spoke many times about, that it's really shocking to read things like um, uh, that we are pathetic when and nagging about uh, get to know our roots and wanting to know um, just what is normal for you to know. You know who your mother is, who your father is, who your grandparents were, nieces, nephews. It's not like you have to have a close relationship with all of them, but you do know who they are. And there are pictures and there are gatherings and stuff like that. So you can't even judge about all this. You have no idea. You don't know because you do know your fucking family. And, so yeah, just shut up about it. Get over it. We want to know more because that is that is a normal right. That's what you're born with to know. And uh, I don't have to be grateful for what I've had. Um, uh, Instead, uh, it's just it's so stupid to say that. It really is. It really is stupid. And it has nothing to do with me being grateful for what kind of life I had and looking back to it. mm, well, yeah, I'm grateful for life, and I'm grateful for now, and I'm grateful for not living with those people anymore. And for all the new things coming my path right now, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that's it. I'm not grateful for the way I got into the Netherlands and with who I got there. And no, I'm not, and I don't have to. So yeah. And um yeah, I'm looking forward for the day that I can tell you all more about my roots. And I'm sure that they will come. Yeah, this was it. And thanks a lot for watching, for listening. Um, it's not all that new, I think, what you've heard, but yeah, sometimes it can be. I got a lot of questions about how that uh, kind of days are to me, like a Mother's Day or Father's Day. And yeah, it is different. I think it's also different when you've lost one or you're both of your parents, or when you had a difficult relationship with them, or whatever. Or it's just um it's a different experience for everybody. And I think those days are commercialized. And uh, yeah, it's weird, those days, but okay. um And those days are triggers for people like me, or people like who lost their parents or one of them. So yeah, it's just like that. And I'm looking forward to see you all again. I'm really enjoying my off time of Facebook. Of course, I read things there and stuff like that, but I'm not posting a lot, and I'm going to continue doing that. Uh, because it's very uh, right for me at the moment to work less with social media. I have also my Telegram and of course YouTube, but yeah, it's just it's it's not that much, and it's good. A lot of time left for other things, and yeah, to reflect on a lot of things. I think there's so much happening right now with the energies and all kinds of things. I just I I'm busy enough with that, and yeah. So I hope to see you all soon again. This was it for today. Thanks for watching, and be the love that you are, and have a great day. Ciao. Ciao, people.